Welcome to the Rocket Launcher Podcast. This is episode 187. I am your host, Supreme King, and join with me as always is my co-host, and his name is...
It's your guy Mazes.
What's going on, man? How's everything going today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm blessed and highly favored, man. I'm chilling. I'm laughing at the internet actually for the past I guess 2 or 3 days, or maybe just actually only about 1 or 2 days. We are in the height of the internet literally turning on what's supposed to be one of the biggest games coming out next. And I think I wanted to speak on it real quick, because I do got some couple things to say. But Wolverine, let's just jump right into it. I didn't expect actually so many videos to jump out. I remember seeing a few things on like Twitter, but then all of a sudden it was just like video after video after video of so many people jumping on this, and this just giant backlash for Wolverine, which I find it hilarious, and the timing of it, the response coming from the developers, I think is hilarious too. But I guess before we get into it, man, I just gotta ask one question. When we gonna finally start calling Insomniac out for being trash? When we gonna start? I was already calling them out for being trash. I put this game on the screen on purpose because that was the only related footage I really had to this. This is Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart. I've talked about my experiences of this a long time ago and shown it too. But we just said so many things about some of the games over a few years. It was just one of those things where it's like we swept it under the rug because everybody is liking Sony, everybody is liking PlayStation, and it's just so happened that we struck a different chord this time around, and then all of a sudden nobody's really liking PlayStation and Sony right now, and decided to put the microscope on this game that's supposed to be one of their biggest tickets of the year, and overnight we just turned on it. We turned on it 100%. They don't have any time to even respond to the criticism in a positive way of trying to fix the thing, because the thing come out in like 30 days. But I find it to be kind of funny because I already expected certain things just based off of the past. Really, I do expect it to have a certain amount of bugs when it comes out. And that's like one of the things we haven't really said, or everybody else said. But Insomniac has been known for being the flagship of PlayStation, right? The backbone of PlayStation for this generation, I believe, part of last generation as well. And everybody was treating it like if Xbox's main company is Bethesda because they pump out a bunch of games, I think PlayStation's would be Insomniac. Probably not as frequent as Bethesda, but it's like that's probably their go-to. And then Nintendo is like the go-to is just like a random thing that Mario's doing for this. Like, this is the year that Mario plays tennis. This is the year that Mario plays golf. It's like that, right? And so this is supposed to be the go-to product, and then all of a sudden everybody's hating it. I do have a few choice things to say about it, but what are your thoughts of the overall general backlash for Wolverine that just kind of happened in the last 72 hours, I want to say?
I think some of it has to do with just people turning on Sony, so it's easy to just pile on anything that they do, which, I mean, it's Sony's fault. They shouldn't be making stupid decisions. And then some of it I think is stupid, like, that I don't agree with, and some of it is also people just like to complain, so then everybody jumps on a complaining bandwagon. Little things like that, like I don't know, like, for example, some of the people were heavily complaining that it's like with part of their story that they're doing, as you can see, there's like an established Jean Grey without an X-Men, and people were up in arms, yet everyone is giving other stuff a pass instead for it, for like the same content. So it seems like it's just really targeted towards this game. Or the main thing that I've seen, the thing that's constantly thrown at me, is people getting upset that Wolverine's clothes regenerate. And it's like, I don't, like, that's stupid. Like, even in the X-Men Origins game where he got all messed up, the clothes regenerated. He didn't run around naked there. Like, I'd rather him not run around naked. I'd rather the clothes regenerate as well. I don't need an explanation for it. It's fine. That's the main thing I've seen. But then again, some of it is going to be targeted towards anything Sony tries to do. We're not going to give you this pass. We're going to destroy everything you do until you actually start listening again. So I think that has a big part of it. Some of the other stuff I've ignored because, like, some of the other mini criticisms I personally ignored because I was trying not to ruin every single thing that's going to happen in the game, because people get information and then the whole information, like the whole game, is going to be out there explaining every single thing, and then it's just going to ruin it. I'm trying not to do that.
I don't really want to see too many spoilers in itself either. I'm not too much concerned with what the story is. For me, my issue is the mechanics. My issue is the choices of how they handle this gameplay. Because I'm gonna be honest, the criticism when I first saw it, at first, before I actually saw some of the videos, I was reading some of the stuff that people had said, and I kind of laughed at it. I still kind of laugh at it. But the second I saw that one boss fight, even before they like show footage of other games that had it, it took everything in me not to throw my phone across the room. To be honest with you, it really did. Because I recognized it. I recognized the movement. The boss fights that I recognized it from actually came from PlayStation 2's God of War 2 with Colossans and God of War 3 with Poseidon. Because it's the same movement, and I really stand by the criticism that some people had where they were saying this doesn't even fit Wolverine, because why would Wolverine sit there with his claws out and gnaw at the dude's forearm until it's time to climb up his arm with a quick time event? That doesn't even make sense. That logic is a PS2 logic, but we're in PS5 territory where that system is $1,000. The game is $70 or $80, right? And so it's like you're putting in like very outdated gameplay, and then honestly, for somebody to be able to pull footage from a game called Ben 10, the Ben 10 boss fight, and to see the exact same footage, like the exact same layout, and it's like you really took it from a child's game from the past, and it's the same layout from another one and another one. It's like that makes me think that you're not that good of a developer, to be honest with you. That makes me think that you're not taking it serious as well. And that I've seen the post that people will say, like, we have the term AI slop. People are calling this Sony slop and AAA slop. Because it's like it's a rinse and repeat kind of thing, and it's so many years that you can do it. But it's like God of War 2 came out in 2007, right? So you're looking at almost 20 years ago. And it's like when you're fighting a boss fight, it's like the logic you have to see. Like if somebody played God of War back then and it's 20 years later, then that person has 20 years more of an understanding as well. So when I sit there and I think like, what logic makes sense where maybe in 2005 or 4 or whenever, like you're not thinking about it that much, and it's like, okay, if I'm gnawing at a boss fight's arm or something, then if he does the bobblehead movement back and all of a sudden don't get consciousness, or like he lose consciousness for a good minute for me to go run and hit him again, then he kind of gets back up. It's kind of like that boss fight, that type of thing doesn't make sense in 2026. You know what I'm saying? Like, because at the same time, that boss was a robot, right? It's a robot boss fight, and so if I'm hitting him in the forearm,
people are gonna get mad if you call it a robot.
still, if I hit him in the arm, and then after so many times he got static that hits his head, and he does a bobblehead back move, and then just kind of faints for a second. It's like the logic don't even make sense because it's a robot basically. Now, okay, and people show, so the funny thing about it is this makes me want to play the Xbox 360 PS3 era Wolverine game, the Uncaged game, more now than ever. And I'm glad I have access to it because they also compared it to the same guy, the fight within that game, and it kind of spoiled it slightly for me. But you saw him actually fighting. You saw him actually having a different logic layout. And it's like, well, Insomniac in 2026, or from 2020 to 2026, should have a much bigger budget, much more quote unquote brilliant minds coming together with modern technology, and should come up with something way better. But that's what they came up with, and that's my issue, and I'm upset with. And at the same time, I gotta say this too, because this is the one thing that irks me the most about Sony games in general. They make games as if people got accessibility issues, and I know that's probably a sensitive topic, but I was like, they might as well put the title on the accessibility show. Because part of the issue, like, that I also have was, like, there's the chase sequence, you're chasing somebody, but they got this, like, green smoke or something that's supposed to guide you in that direction. It's like, we can see him. We know who we're chasing. We see him right there. I don't need the smoke, or some of these games, I don't need paint on the wall to kind of get me over there. I can see where I'm going. And it's that hold your hand mechanic. Reminds me of when you got a puzzle in the room, and the little AI midget that's right there with you is going to tell you exactly what's going on before you can even do anything. It's like, that's like, I don't need you to do that. I can figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I can look around the room. I can figure out the puzzle. It's like they'll sit there like, what if you just go right over there to the safe and then type in or turn it to 35 and then 15 and then 3? What happens if you put that on the site? Like, that's basically what they do. And I'm just like, dude, at this point, like it has to have more logic in the mechanics of the games and stuff. You have to make a game where, if I'm lost in the world, I'm just lost in the world, and I run around the sandbox and I find where I'm supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? I could see if it's like you got to find this one sword or something that's just like hidden under a rock or something, and you're inside of a map as built as big as Elden Ring or something, and if you don't find that sword, you can't move forward in the game. It's like, it don't even be stuff like that. It'll be a linear layout, and they'll still just spoil the whole thing for you and stuff. But yeah, to me, that's the part that I find is trash a little bit. You know, the mechanics that lead you on, and then boss fights that look like that. That I can't stand, to be honest with you. I've already had that type of issue with them for a while. And to see it again, I was just like, well, you kind of just take the excitement out of it for me a little bit. I understand the bigger issue with, you know, we're mad at them for the physical media thing. But it's like, even if you took the physical media out of it, this was the game that they were going to give you. Whether you had it on disc or you had it digital, this is the game they was going to give you. You know, and the Wolverine, the God of War thing kept coming up in a lot of people's videos. Stupid cube with a sword in it. Like, with this, bro, where the creativity at, bro? Is that supposed to be creative? That's like the game with the pottery the game where we make pottery and then they fight, right? All right, I got one more thing on this though. Zesty Troy Baker, did you see that?
No.
Dude, okay, because I know there was a lot of people who went the woke route with it and stuff. I don't even know who he plays, so it's not even like I'm about to spoil it for you. But they shoehorn him in there. You see his face, you're gonna recognize him right away. But he got this like look as if he's like he he, bro, he looked like almost like Keanu Reeves if Keanu Reeves pressed his hair down a little bit and stuff. And it's a scene where Wolverine is kind of like it looked like he's supposed to be hemming him up, but he's talking real soft to him and he's kind of caressing his face and his upper chest area and stuff. And like that just looked weird in itself. There's criticism on that, but I'm just like, does Troy Baker, I understand he's good at voice acting, but did you really need to shoehorn him in as far as how he looked and stuff? Like a lot of times we wouldn't even know it was him because they didn't put his face in it. He just kind of made a character. But they put his face in it this time, and so I recognized him right away. It kind of took me out of the game, or just out of the moment when I'm looking at that scene. But it was just like, why is he caressing him and stuff? And it was just a weird. It was a weird move. I did see the criticism about Wolverine's face. I kind of agree with it. It don't really look like that would be Wolverine. I think they were saying they tried to make him look more like who the actor is and stuff. I definitely agree that Sabretooth looked like a generic gym bro. He really do. It's a dude on YouTube that kind of has a Brock Lesnar look that does a lot of cooking videos with a like an accent that I watched. He looked very similar to him. I could probably show it to you later. It's bad enough that all this stuff was kind of like coming after we heard about them having in-game purchases, but the overall thing is Sony's thing with the physical media has caused the one company, which is them, to have everybody put the spotlight on them. Like when Nintendo was launching their Switch 2, the spotlight got on them at the last minute because they introduced the $80 game, basically, right? The Mario Kart. At one point, people thought the physical one was going to be $90. And then the system was $400 instead of like a $300 thing. And so the world turned on them right before they released the Switch 2, right? Xbox gets turned on. Everybody turned on Xbox like every month. Somebody got something bad to say about Xbox. It's like they don't get no slack. But now Sony has created a they put themselves in a corner because now every game that they come out with is going to get a certain level of criticism that they probably wouldn't have gotten before if they didn't have their news that they had just had. But with the physical media, but for me it's like, still, even with it, is the games overall have to get better. They can't just be like this. I'm looking at footage of him. He's rolling around in the Wolverine rolling around in the grass doing the whole like stealth thing where somebody's walking by with the gun, and the first thing I'm thinking of is this is Last of Us 2. Right, it kind of just feels like some of that stuff is like the same game over and over and over again. And I know with Spider-Man 2, people had criticism of that as well with the Mary Jane segment. Some of the movements and things that you had to do with her was basically Last of Us 2 as well. And it comes off as if it's just like they're lacking creativity over there. And for me, I kind of knew this for a long time. I let everybody else put Insomniac on the pedestal. But if you remember, I don't think anybody else on the internet pointed this out. Even with Spider-Man, they was copying like other titles. Like that mini game with the whole like doing a circuit breaker thing, that came from Saints Row. We saw it, right? The wall running up the wall was from Saints Row as well. And I'm just like, well, how are they like top 5, dead or alive studio, and you still plagiarizing from all these other places, from the past and stuff, from all the other timelines and everything. But the boss fight, if it wasn't like sequence by sequence the same, I probably wouldn't have like been as mad about that. But to put that one screen where, because for me it was God of War. That was the first thing I saw and I thought of was God of War. I didn't even know about this Ben 10 game. That that's what puts the icing on the cake. Where it's just like bro, so many titles was doing that. Like, and you do the same thing. It's like, come on, bro. Not with the game that's supposed to be like the best. It's supposed to be one of the best games of the year, right? Next to like GTA or whatever. Like, come on, bro. So they feeling it right now. They feeling it. They feeling it, and it's gonna be interesting to see how the game does and performs, because I, even though everybody was having all this boycott thing, boycott this, boycott that, Sony knows better than anybody that the people don't have a real backbone out here. So this was the game that was still going to get people to still, you know, go against whatever their quote unquote morals was going to be until this happened, right? Now it's like, we don't know what's going to happen. And what's funny is, so the developers, or not the developers, but the director, I guess, he was saying, this is a outlandish, or this is a onslaught on our company, and the internet is making our developers have bad mental health or something like that. I was like, what? It was kind of goofy. But honestly, it's like, what bad mental health? When I saw that, I was just like, well, you guys sit here and you're plagiarizing though. Like, and you guys don't put a certain level, like, you're supposed to be putting a certain level of detail in there and supposed to be paying attention, but this isn't the first time that we've seen them have moments like this, and we just kind of, now they're not sweeping it under the rug, but we swept other things under the rug, like the Cuban flag thing, you know, or just the bad patch or whatever that happened with Spider-Man 2, where like within the first week there was just so many bugs being posted by so many people and stuff. It was like, something like that shouldn't happen from the leading company of one of the leading brands and top 5 brands of a generation, where you have a budget of half a billion dollars or something, like really crazy budget, and then you have these type of moments, right? Like, how does a leading brand, you know, pull details and stuff from PS2 games and present it as a PS5 game, right? You're supposed to be the top brand. That shouldn't be. And really, for PR sake, how do you mess the flag up with Spider-Man? We kind of forgot about that over time. It's just, how, from the top company, how? I expect that from an indie developer that has to go to work and only comes and develops on the game after they come home from work because they don't have resources. Not from a multi-billion-dollar company with thousands of employees. Like, for real. Like, that's my rant. I don't know. Maybe I'm overdoing it, but still, the plagiarism thing is unacceptable. That's overall. That part is unacceptable to me. I don't want to see that boss fight again in another game that's that new. I want to see that boss fight when I go and get my Steam Deck and go back and pull a bunch of emulation games. Then I'll play that boss fight. I don't want to play that boss fight in a brand new game. No way. I'm a scratch. That's like a cat. Like, you get attacked by your cat. Your cat is just like scratching you in your forearm or something, and then, it just make you knock back or something. Oh man. Any thoughts? Anything else?
Yeah, I think half of the things you said was legit, and a good chunk of it was also just nitpicky. So,
What's nitpicky?
like, so for example, now copying that exact move for move Ben 10 boss fight, insane. Like, that is a sad thing. Boss fights looking that way in general, with the whole fight the arm until the thing falls, it's sort of a reason why I don't like giant robot like boss fights in game where the thing is like a million times bigger than you. But I don't feel as strongly of a, like, how dare you do that as a big company, because as you mentioned, like, pretty much they all do. It's like, to me, it's video game logic. Like, that is what almost all the big boss fights do. We've played several games where that is the big boss fight. You jump around, you smack the arm until they fall. It's
Mm-hmm.
more or less to me just like a. I equate that or like while I'll make jokes as well about, oh, look at that conveniently yellowed marker, or oh, look at the only car on the street with green exhaust, or something like that. I kind of equate those to red barrels in games where
Mm-hmm.
like it's even for like Crash Bandicoot, red barrel, cool because it's a cartoon. Call of Duty, red barrel. Why? Why would they like in realistic logic? Why would they paint the barrels red? We're like, hey, don't shoot around here. You just like shooting around barrels, but like if I'm playing a shooter, I want the barrel to be red so I know it explodes. So I feel like some of it is video game logic that and I equate this
I
again
can
with like
agree. I
with
agree.
the clothes heal. I think this all also equates to like the people being upset. It's like, dog, his clothes heal in the game. How does that make sense? Where's the explanation for that? And it's like, because it's the game. Like, it's game logic. Now, again, some of this stuff gets targeted because of all the eyes on them and everything. But even though I say it's video game logic, I think being upset that no one's trying to reinvent the wheel is a problem, right? Like, if a game tells me it has stealth mechanics, I'm gonna assume you either crawl through the grass, like Last of Us, or there's many games that did it before, or you're gonna go from the skyline, like Spider-Man and Batman, because
Mm-hmm.
that's all they do for stealth. Would I want someone to reinvent it somehow? Yes, please. Like some of the games where you have to like wear a disguise, answer questions correctly so you don't get noticed as you walk through. That's awesome because that's innovative, but it's not having that in a game doesn't necessarily take me out. I wasn't upset that there were stealth sections in Spider-Man. I was upset that I had to take a break from being Spider-Man to be Mary Jane in forced sections that slowed down all of the gameplay, and then in Spider-Man 2 was extra unrealistic because she's taking down trained military members and hunters with like zero issue with the taser. Where it's just like, like there was a stealth section in Spider-Man 1 that I really liked, and I wish that was the
Mm-hmm.
only one that was in it where there's a part in the game, spoiler, but Spider-Man 1, you should have played it already. There's a spoiler, or there's a section where you have to duck and hide as Mary Jane and make your way through, but you can like target people and Spider-Man will come down from the ceiling and take them out. Right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like being the other person in while watching Spider-Man do his work and everything. And to me, that was cool. It didn't slow down the action. It's
Mm-hmm.
still the heat of everything, and it kind of gives that idea of like for the superhero has to stop the bad guys and protect all the people that's there as well. So I thought that was a really cool section, as opposed to in Spider-Man 2 when you're breaking into some Craven's house and you're like sneaking around and then using a taser to take down these trained assassins and everything, and you're a reporter, and the logic was, oh, you trained with some high level police force for a couple months. And it's like that's stupid, right? Like that was to me that breaks it. But the game having that sort of stealth in it, they've done it for years. To me, it's just video game logic. Now maybe I'm a little jaded because I've categorized it as video game logic, and maybe I should be on the you need to reinvent the wheel, stop trying to copy the old stuff just because that's the way it is. And sometimes that reinvention is why some AA games get so much more praise than what they do. So that could be a me thing where I'm just giving it a pass where maybe I shouldn't be. Now, what isn't a pass, and you brought it up, I made a big stink, if you remember back, about the whole Cuban flag thing. Especially
Mm-hmm.
because that was personally offensive to me being Puerto Rican, where it's like it's very easy to get that one correct. How do you get that one? Like, no one double checked? Not one person there double check to make sure it's the right flag. Where if you pick up one Miles Morales comic book, the flag's everywhere. How do you get that wrong? Like that was personally offensive as well. Um, but yeah, sometimes reusing other mechanics and stuff like we saw with like the Saints Row stuff, or we constantly make jokes in other games where we used to say, "Why play this when you got this game?" Because it's doing a very similar thing. It's like it's fine. It's fine. I do think some of it is a little more blown up because of that. And for the Troy Baker thing, I didn't see it. I'll call it out if it's definitely shoehorned in, but I don't know the story of it as
I
well.
honestly, I don't know who he is. I just know when I
Yeah,
saw it, I was just like, I cringed because it was just like get out of this game. You in every
yeah.
game.
I personally
But
don't like when the voice actors look like the people voicing it,
yeah,
because I feel like for animation, that's the whole point, is that you get this voice that matches the character you're designing, not you design the character after the voice that you want.
they did that
Like,
with Spider-Man too, though, didn't it? Like at the last minute, he just changed his entire face,
yeah,
and it was
so
just
that was
like,
what I was
oh,
gonna. Another thing I was gonna bring up, what you mentioned, where it was like how everybody looks. I'm not super upset with how everybody looks, but I think it's because I expect them all to look bad because it
hmm
seems like they've been doing that. Like I hated the way Insomniac redesigned a lot of the people; they just look horrible. I am on that boat where I think they made Mary Jane look worse, and I'm okay with people looking slightly aged, right? If especially if there's a time like lapse, like yeah, age them. Like I have no issues with the way LaFay, personally. I don't have any issues with the way she looks.
hmm
Now she does straight up look like Deborah Ann Wall, the voice actress for it. That part's a
hmm
little bit weird, but I don't have an issue with her being like an older woman or the way she looks. To be honest, as much as we can make jokes and it'll come up later, I wasn't completely like when they showed that intergalactic thingy and they showed the bald chick. Like it didn't immediately take me out. It's something I'm gonna notice. I need some more. If she's like, if everybody else has long hair and she's just bald because action star, then I'm gonna call it out. But like, I don't know anything where like it doesn't immediately like catch me anymore.
they made
Um,
her look like the actress too. The actress kind
and
of looked like
also
that
that,
too.
and that's when I went, like, because that's when I start to go, make them just look cool. Like I think the first Peter design for Spider-Man looked great. To me, it looked like a nice fusion between the three popular Spider-Man actors. And then they changed it up, and then he just looked like he was the same age as Miles. And it was like, yeah, I've been doing this for 5 years. And it was
I
like,
think
you
it was
don't
kind of
look
silly too, because
old.
they made him look younger and then made Mary Jane look older.
Yeah,
And
that
so it was
also was
like
terrible.
that was his mom basically.
Yep. So there is
Uh,
that. But I also, while I say I think some of this criticism is nitpicky, I am all for bashing it if it's going to make a point to Sony that they made a bad decision. Like, I feel like they decided they didn't want to listen and they just want to be jerks about everything. Well, then call them out. Now, another thing that you pointed out is a quick line that you said where it's where I go, and that's why I didn't interrupt. It was like, well, I disagree with like things right away, is because of the specific thing you said where it makes a lot of my like, well, I just assume it's this kind of go out of the window, and it's specifically you pay $1,000 for a machine and you get this.
yeah.
Where I'm like, you reuse certain like mechanics and assets, and again, and I'm like, oh, that's just video game logic.
Here's yeah.
Video game logic is okay when you're not cranking out rent payments for this stuff. If I'm cranking out rent payments, this thing needs to wow me, not just be
Yeah,
status quo.
because you gotta also understand too. This is Sony operating as if they could do whatever they want. There's no competition. They could set the boundary, set the price, set the boundaries. They could say the game can only be played here, and the quality of the title. Because I actually, funny enough, I didn't criticize Wolverine as much as I did the God of War game at the time when they were just doing the physical disc thing. I'm like you're really coming out of here acting as if your game is so much better than everybody else's, but then the creativity is like kind of lacking a little bit. And then when you see it, the gameplay is basically, Devil May Cry, but then like it's supposed to be serious, it's supposed to set a certain tone, and it threw me off when I saw the Jello thing with the sword in it, right? But it was just like, at the end of the day, that's the game I go against my judgment, my morals, and say, okay, well, I will relinquish ownership, and you could take the game back out of my library whenever you feel like it, because this is the game that's so good that I don't care, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of people, GTA 6 is that game,
Uh huh.
but this Wolverine is not, and it's their best
And I
card
feel
right
like that's
now.
rightfully so. honestly, like as much as I love like superhero stuff, I don't feel like this is a system seller. Me having this on my super radar is because I already have a PS5. If
Mhm.
you told me I had to go out and go buy in current day, current prices a PS5 so I can go play this, I'd be like, I'm good. Hard pass. Like, I'm good. This doesn't feel that. And then if you're gonna be idiots about everything you're doing, then your first party games really do need to feel like system sellers.
You know what's actually funny too, though, because there was a lot of comparison to the uncaged Wolverine game, right?
Yeah.
If you do look at the logic of today, it's go buy the system in the game, spend about $1,100, or go hunt a mom and pop store or eBay charge for the older game, and it's still under 70, even if it's used. It's still like there's a buy-in of maybe $40 or $50 for the title, because I know it was marked up a little bit, and then a PS3 is hovering just under $200. Like
Yeah.
the buy-in on that end,
For a game
like
that holds up really well.
right, like they're selling the retro more than they're selling the main titles. Like go play that one because that one's better. Basically, is kind of the thing they didn't mean to say, but they were kind of letting the internet say it. Any thoughts on mental health issues coming from Insomniac and the director? And
It depends. I feel like that word kind of gets thrown around a lot, way too much, and as a way to say, "Hey, please leave us alone."
yeah,
Now, where I'm not so quick to always be like, "Oh my God!" Like grow a backbone. Like, what is you even doing? Like for that is only because if the criticism they're getting stopped at the level of what me and you were saying,
yeah.
then it's like, all right, come on, like chill. However, I know people on the internet are weird, and some of them are probably getting like their families getting death threats.
Yeah,
And
you
it's
just
like,
randomly show up at somebody's house, or
yeah.
you
So
just
that's where it's
conveniently
like,
be at the restaurant that they went to or something random. Like what?
yeah.
So,
So like that's where I go. Like for example, Drake at one point, slightly related, but he complained about like a mental health, or he brought up it was just like he don't like the like y'all think celebrities are free reign to make fun of, and
mhm.
that to me I was like, why are you paying attention? You put yourself out there. Why are you doing that? Or like, one of my biggest criticisms of like influencer your internet people, especially because I follow like a lot of like the cosplayer stuff. And there's for example, a specific example, one girl she did this really cool Sub-Zero like cosplay, right? And one comment was like she had it posted where it was just like Sub-Zero's a guy. What are you doing? So then she doubled down with more Sub-Zero content. And in my head, I was like, well, your original post had over 10,000 comments, and if you start scrolling, it's just, oh my God, this is awesome. Yo, this looks cool. Great transition. That's a nice effect. Blah blah blah. Some people being gross in the other way, where it's hot, etc. All this other stuff. And then it'll be like 3 comments that was just like, girls should cosplay as girls. Sub-Zero's a guy. And then one other weird one. And it was like out of the 10,000 comments, those 3 got you so pressed that you got to make follow-up videos. And that's what I feel sometimes when they do this, that whole mental health thing that they bring up. It's like, you got rightful criticism, and then some people may have made jokes about it, and now all of a sudden you got to be like, hey, stop making it fun so much. And you're so focused on that, like, chill. But again, it's, when they say mental, I always get afraid. It's like, yeah, but if people are trying to show up at your house, then I'd probably say something too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think anybody should overstep that boundary, but I don't think mentioning mental health as an excuse should work when it comes to anybody criticizing them on just the plagiarism alone.
Yeah, then you
That
gotta
part-
calm down with that. Yeah, the whole.
That's
yeah,
where
that
I'm
I
at with
100%
it.
agree with you. So if that's what they're specifically trying to go out here and focus on, is like, nah, you just take the criticism.
I think it's the overall. So there is other parts to that. So this is Sony's biggest game for this year, right? And Wolverine was a big title that they had in the background that they were working on for a while, and so this is what they came up with. There's an immediate rejection 1 month before it's coming out. You can't change that much in 1 month, right? You can make the argument that there are going to be some people in there that's probably worried that they could lose a job, right? Because have we seen in other games with releases not going the way they want, and then all of a sudden there's a layoff, right? And we've talked about a bunch of layoffs with big name companies that probably could have afforded to keep everybody. So I can understand that part maybe, where people are afraid that
But
they
don't
could
get
lose
mad
their
at
job.
us. Be mad at PlayStation and the business.
Yeah, because at the same time, it shouldn't. I really don't think that they should have a title where it was the same old, but you put a new name on it, and it's like people, you really are playing the same games again, and we've heard criticism about them all the time, where it's a third person action adventure over the shoulder, where the person's talking to himself but really trying to get you to do certain things. We got a bunch of assist characters.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest issues, and I think I brought it up. Remember that clip from God of War Ragnarok is when, like, as soon as you get to an area and if somebody's out here just like, hey, look over there at that one thing, maybe if we freeze it, and it's just like, can I figure something out, please? Like,
yeah. But we'll see. This is an interesting turn of events for the overall Sony road. It's funny because I want to say road to WrestleMania, road to 2028. This is basically the road to 2028. Ain't looking so good this early on. I do think the game is still going to do relatively well overall. The Backlash might not reach the masses that fast. I mean, YouTube is working overtime over this right now, but in the long run, people are going to play the game and enjoy it. Similar to Last of Us. Last of Us had plenty of backlash in the beginning just for certain story choices. But yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna be honest, for myself, I just want to keep playing the Uncaged game, but I actually want to pivot. I don't actually want to come to this game next. I think I actually want to go to Ultimate Alliance 3, which I actually have on the Nintendo Switch. I bought it around the time I first had the Switch.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. I was thinking of the other Ultimate Alliance one. That one's also good. I played a little bit of it. I got to get back into it.
Yeah. Wolverine is in there. I can have him on that team, and I'll call it a day, and then I'll just hold off on this one. Maybe I'll go to Web of Shadows if I really want to see Wolverine for a little while.
Fantastic game.
But there's choices there, right? So that's where I'm at with that. Real quick, let's switch gears before this footage goes away. What is on the screen right now? What's on the screen is called Unga Lands, or Unga Land. This was one of the demos from like one of those indie shows from probably a few months ago. I bought it out for a couple reasons, but this was played on the Steam Deck, and I had actually recorded the footage while it was docked. But Unga Land is supposed to be like somewhat of a 3D platformer with some Souls-like mechanics. Honestly, this game needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of work. It's funny enough because those indie titles can put together a trailer so well to make you think, oh, it's a really cool new indie game, and then when you play it, it's like, oh, this really was developed by some indie developers, maybe one or two people or something. Yeah. To be fair though, the Steam Deck has a sensor or something in it that says this will be playable, or it's certified for the Steam Deck or something like that. Because this was a demo from an indie person, they said we don't have any any data on this yet, basically. And it was a new demo because this is a new game that's coming out. And so there wasn't really proper optimization coming from the community on this, I guess. I don't know how that works. But I tried to play it anyway. I mean, it runs fine. It's just the gameplay is not as good. There's, it needs some polish. But by the time I actually did get to a boss fight, which I don't think is in this footage because I actually had two clips, it lagged really hard and it was like really dropping the frame rate, and it may drop the frame rate a little bit in this video too, but I kind of chopped it up to being like something that's not optimized for the Steam Deck, and called it a day. But as a title, I do still want to follow it when it released to see how the official reviews are and see how gameplay is with like some random person on the internet. But in its current state, based off of this demo, it's a pass, unfortunately. It's a pass for me. But it looked like it looked like on the surface, if you're just looking at the video, it's like, oh, it's just like a standard platformer. It's just the combat and stuff, it's just very rough. It very is. But I am going to try to get more demos going. I don't want to come on here like Triple H or something, just bury every demo that comes out. I'm not trying to do that, but I know in the last couple of times I have done it. I have buried the demo.
Well, in fairness, I've praised some, so we have a balance. I'll post some more that I like. We have a balance.
Oh
no, I did trash Gigasword, but the rest of them, well, not trash. I just said it wasn't from me. But yeah, no, I got some.
All right. So we can move forward. Roblox. You said there was a Roblox Thief. What's going on with this Roblox Thief?
So the thief wasn't. Oh, I guess he wasn't stealing from Roblox. I think it was worse. So this 11-year-old in Canada wanted to get some Robux for Roblox. So
that's what they call it.
Yeah, they call it Robux. Like,
okay.
Yeah, he snuck into his parents' room and
oh
found
no!
Emergency funds. They had $2,000 in an envelope of emergency funds. And he took the $2,000, and then Grandma was like, "I'm going to Walmart. Who want to come with?" And he was like, "Me." And they went to Walmart, and then he's at the toy section, and she's like, "All right, I gotta go grab some stuff." And he's like, "It's cool. I'll be over here." So she goes to go grab what she needs to, and he walks out of the toy section, goes over to the electronic part for Walmart, and grabs a bunch of the $200 Robux like gift cards. So Walmart is like, "Yo, if you're gonna buy gift cards, you can only buy up to 1,000 in a transaction." And he's like, "Bet, I'll just make 2 transactions." So he grabs 5 $200 ones, buys them for 1,000, finds like another $200 each, buys those for 1,000. It was like, cool, have a good day. And then the parents is like, "Wait a minute, where's our money?" And they see him with all these Robux cards and everything. I don't think he scratched them yet, but he sees all these Robux cards, so they took them. Realized they took the emergency fund. They go back to Walmart, and Walmart's like, "We don't take returns on gift cards because that could be a scam." So now they're stuck with these Robux cards.
But no, that kid will go for adoption.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, they could probably sell them online, like with the story, and just be like, they might have to sell them at a loss. Whereas, like, this, but even
try
a
to
loss
get half
like,
of it.
we're gonna, give us 180, we'll give you the thing. People are gonna be like, "Yeah, I'll save 20." Especially under the story, they'll know it's not like a scam-ish sort of thing. Especially with this thing making national news. But yeah, the kid gonna have to go. But like, yeah, that happened. And they were trying to say, why did Walmart like let an 11-year-old spend $2,000? The workers is like, because we get minimum wage. And
yeah, I don't think they wouldn't care. They would look at it like it's a laugh moment. I know if I was getting annoyed.
He also walked in with hardcore cash. They were just like, "All right, bet, kids." They walked in with someone's stolen credit card.
Roblox was getting some under fire, I think, recently, because I think people were saying they're not doing as good of a job as protecting kids online.
They're never doing a good job with protecting kids online. In fact, Chris Hansen did a whole thing showing how bad it is and like how easy it is for predators and stuff to happen on there, and they got mad at him.
Yeah. So that's the thing. That's a lot worse of a story.
Oh yeah, but yeah, this reminds me of the whole. There was that case where the girl in China racked up a credit card for Genshin Impact, and there was another case of somebody racking up a bunch of money for like one of these games online. Like I think the dad's credit card was like linked, and he just kept buying. And then like for the girl, she had an emergency use in college and had an emergency credit card that the dad gave her that was on some like no matter what, if you go somewhere in the city, you will always have this for like taxi or whatever you need to get home. As in like an emergency fund, and she spent like 15,000 on Genshin Impact
Mm.
with it.
Oh shoot! Let me show you this picture I just looked at.
But yeah, so that happened.
Yeah. Okay. Um. I don't know how long this footage is. I wanted it to last long enough for another topic, but before
Other
I
ones?
get to the topic, this Ungaland footage. But
Yeah, do you want me to
um,
talk about one of my other topics?
I was gonna lead you into it actually.
Oh, okay, go ahead, go ahead.
The Pokemon Gamma Emerald.
Yeah, so, Pokemon, of course, revealed a long time ago Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Now, in the old Ruby and Sapphire, there was a third one in there that's actually my favorite Pokemon game, my first Pokemon game. Many
Mhm.
people's GOAT Pokemon game, Pokemon Emerald. Well,
Mhm.
they never released any sort of like updates for that one. You just had Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So people have been fan stuff have been working on and have so far released a mini sort of like fan project for Pokemon Emerald with like quality of life improvements, day night cycle. They stopped tying HMs to Pokemon, so they're just like moves that you can do instead of like having to give up moves for your Pokemon, like in a lot of the newer games, things like that. Updated the graphics a little, but kept it with the old Game Boy Charm that people like. And called it Gamma Emerald, which works
Mm.
because gamma radiation is associated with green because of the Hulk. So right now they have up to like I think 3 gyms, and they're still like just kind of working on it, but you're able to download it. So for people who want to try it out, I suggest getting it and having the download before Nintendo takes it down. And you can keep going until they're gonna keep updating it. I'll just say keep track of it, and like as they update, it's like we added this many gyms, blah blah blah. Just grab the new download and everything just to have it.
There was this Pokemon MMO game that's out there that's like fan made
Uh
that
huh.
was supposed to like combine a whole bunch of titles together. I forgot what it was called, but that's what it reminded me of.
That's cool.
And they never actually took it down or something. So
Oh, the one that I
maybe.
liked got taken down. It was called Pokemon Uranium, which had a whole like original story, 50 original Pokemon added to it. Blah blah blah. Its own thing, and just reuse some of the assets, but its own thing, own story, everything like that. They were able to get up to 8 gyms, and then it got taken down
Mm.
from the Elite Four. But I still have a copy of it. It's still pretty cool.
Hey, that's
Created a
what's
whole
up.
new type too in there as well. They have their own original type.
That's what's up. Um, I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna move some of this around so that we don't lose the Power Ranger footage like last time. Um, Shout out to Power Rangers. Shout out to Power Rangers Super Legends. That's the name of the title.
Yeah.
This was out back also in the PS2 era, GameCube era. So you can go find that, mom and pop or online probably, for that, generation. If you like the gameplay, but I really just wanted to touch on a little bit of Power Ranger news, not as much as before. Even though this footage I think is going to last a little bit. I'm at least happy to announce that the season 2 of the Playmate Toys stuff is now starting to hit the stores in my state. I've been also following a lot of people online really do their darndest to hunt down all of the Thunder Megazords in or the Thunder Zords in pieces to get the Megazords. Almost like assembling the Infinity Gauntlet. We got 6 stones, we got 6 Zords out there, right? And everybody is out there trying to find the one. And it's pretty cool to see the community do that. But you can get, you know, most of those Zords, if not all of them, either online or in your local stores. Um, I have decided that I wanted to purchase them myself. Um,
Okay.
and I've seen a few of them. For me, I am actually only missing the Lion Zord, the Lion Thunder Zord. I have all the other ones, and I have a crazy story on how I've gotten the rest of them, which leads into my next topic after that. But before I do go into all of that, do you want to mention anything about this YouTube series that just resurfaced? Wasn't it taken down at some point?
Yeah. So, first of all, Disney was like, actually, we're scrapping Power Rangers, and decided to drop it again. So as of now, still Cosmic Fury is the last one. Which upset a lot of people because they were hoping that like they've been excited and following this. Well, Ninja Kids somehow a good chunk, like a nice 6 minutes of their footage, that they were going to release went ahead and dropped. It was that thing that Hasbro was backing, and then they released a trailer, and the trailer was like 50% AI, and everybody got really upset, rightfully so, because it's like you're not some indie company and you're being backed by the owners. You should have money to not have to do this.
Yeah, these companies are lazy in every area.
So they just like canceled it, but then some of it got released, and it looked like it was going to be very like, you know, campy, feel good, whatever. But they showed the 6 minutes of footage. I watched it, and it starts with a little fight, looks cool. Then they decide to go ahead and morph. And when they go to do it, and it's pure AI. Now they're like, you know, it's more of a time it'll be like Mastodon, and then like a giant AI Mastodon coin forms around the person, then turns into the morpher, still AI. Then it like covers the person in that like old school image where they're like Mastodon, and then they turn into they get the outfit. But it's like very AI. When the Blue Ranger said Triceratops, it re-showed the saber-toothed tiger coin. And it was like, you didn't fix that? Like, everybody just noticed it was super dope. Because it's not a small coin. Like, it takes up their whole body. It's huge. So it's like, that's not the right one. Covers them. And then they do their fights, and then it's tied into Cosmic Fury. They seemed like they were going to be doing a lot. It was just weird AI voices and extra stuff in the background, too. Like, AI news cast and stuff, and everybody was just like, yeah, you said, which when people called them out for the AI, their first thing was like, oh, no, this is just placeholders for what we're going to actually release, and then it turns out it wasn't placeholders. So that can go too. We just don't get good Power Ranger stuff.
I saw the link. I hadn't seen the full footage yet. I'm gonna look at it at some point. But I do find it weird. I've seen some other like, is it the takedown because it was semi-official? Because I've seen fans make stuff. Fans made some stuff all the time.
Fans are allowed to do their own thing under, I think, parity and fair use, and they're not trying to get funded for it, like upright. So they're allowed to just go ahead and use it. It's just Nintendo that tries to copyright heavy everything. But they got taken down just because they were putting money in it, and it made Hasbro look bad. So they're like, nah. Hasbro is doing what Warner Bros. Did, where they keep going to release stuff and then just canceling it and being like, tax season, and calling it a day.
Well, at least they're alive and well in the Toyverse, I guess.
They are.
I am still holding out. Well, I'm not necessarily holding out, but waiting for the release of the Flames toy Thunder Megazord. That's the main one I want. But I did decide to get the other ones because they were just kind of there. When I tell you the power of something being in the store, and when you have the funds, right? So I don't have too much more to talk about when it comes to Power Rangers, but this is going to lead into my other news. So let me explain how I got every Zord, right? Initially, the Lion Zord. So technically, I do have the Lion Zord. It's just I got that one through Amazon. and they said it's not going to get sent to me until like September 1st, which kind of sucks, right? But the other ones were, I was just watching people get them in their states and everything, right? And then at one point, the blue one and the yellow one just like appeared here, and I was just like, dude, I don't really want it, but why not? I don't know. I just why not? Because it was just there, right? And then like shortly afterwards, the Firebirds or the Pink Ranger Zord appeared online on Amazon, and it was also another one that was like, I don't know what's going on with Amazon, but if you order from Amazon, don't expect it till September, but you'll have one at least. But they were just like, it's not going to be ready yet until like either the 26th of August through September, or like the first week of September or something. And I'm like, why? I don't know, but why? So I was like, all right, I'm gonna just chill. Next thing you know, I added the red one and the white one to my wish list on Walmart, but it wasn't really available. And I had other things that was like on my list on Walmart that I was looking at, and so my birthday month is next month. I'm going to be going out of town, right? I get on the phone with my family, and we were because it's actually a family reunion too, but we ordered some plane tickets, and this is how funny like life goes, right? Like my auntie was leading the conversation, and she almost had us like ordering tickets for like almost $400 for the tickets, and that was off of Delta. So I'm about to lose a sponsor from Delta, but I had went on Priceline.com that they look at a bunch of different tickets for the same thing, and then obviously you choose the cheapest. And I managed to get the same flight for $155 round trip. And everybody's like, what? Which one do you go to? And blah, blah, blah. I'm like emailing the links and stuff. While I'm doing that, and then they're kind of talking, I looked on my phone, and White Tiger Zord and Red Dragon Zord went from saying out of stock to add to cart. And I looked at it, and before even thinking about it, I clicked both of them add to cart and then just hit buy, because I didn't want it to lose. And then I didn't read the fine print, right? The fine print said they're all the way out in a different city that you and me know starts with an N, ends with an I. And I was like, oh, that's kind of far. And I was like, do I just hit don't get it? Because it was like, it wasn't to ship to me. It was set up for store pickup. And I was like, no. And it was like, it'll be ready tomorrow. And I'm like, I'm not even off tomorrow. I'm off today, but I'm not off tomorrow. So I'm not going to worry about it. I don't know. Maybe I'll wait till my next off day if they still got it. And I'm just kind of chilling and stuff. And next thing you know, I see the thing on there say, it's ready for pickup. I'm like, it's ready for pickup? Like, y'all said it was going to be ready tomorrow. And I was faced with the decision, do I drive out there? And I was thinking about like the people on social media who was talking about how they drove an hour or something. For me, it was going to be like 40-minute drive. I was like, do I drive out there and get this? Like, is it really over there? Like, do I want to risk it and then cancel it while I'm trying to like go over there and say, oh, this was an error? But I take the drive anyway. I go all the way down there in the parking lot. They bring it to my car, and literally they hand me the Red Dragon Zord and the White Tiger Zord. I was like, holy crap. These are the hottest too. There's like nothing left. And then the day that I took the picture and I showed you what I saw in stores, that's when I saw the Firebird and actually went under Amazon and canceled mine and just bought that one because it was just right in front of me, right? Instead of waiting for it on in September. And so technically the only one I have left to get is the Lion one, and I've already secured it. But if it shows up in store while I gotta go get groceries or something, I'm gonna just buy it on the spot and cancel the other one if I get it in time. But yeah, that's how I went from not having them to basically getting 5 out of the 6 overnight because of the availability. So it's kind of cool. I'm in the mix of that. Um, More detail I'll tell you off air, but in the middle of going down there, I think I may have like overworked my car or something. I found out basically my car is no good. So the very next day I'm at work, right? Yeah. My engine overheats and I gotta pull over. I was thinking about, I was like, is it because I took that long drive and this car is like probably older or something? I don't know. Well, I normally drive, but I don't drive as long. But the car goes out. I was faced with the decision: do I fix it or do I get another one? I actually decided to get another one, so I got a brand new car. I'll tell you some more about the detail offline, because this is like way different from podcasting. But I did all of that. In the middle of doing that, right? Right before it, when I was still buying my tickets to my flight and buying first the White Tiger Zord and the Red Dragon Zord, is going to lead into my next topic. I get an email coming from Steam. You already know what I'm about to say. And they tell me, oh, you are now available to, it's now available for you to buy the Steam machine. You got 3 days to buy this. I was like, what? I was like, you wait till I don't even really want this. And I was like, I found such a great deal on these tickets. I'm gonna buy the Steam machine. And I bought the Steam machine that night. That was either Tuesday or Wednesday night, right? My car breaks down the next day. This was so crazy, and I was like, oh my god, this is probably about to be expensive. I might have to take this thing back, but I was just so overwhelmed by all of that, right? That so it was like, it was leaking the antifreeze. I don't know if you remember when my original car went down and I was ended up like kind of driving my mom's car for a while and just taking the bus for a while. Part of the reason was because of the same thing. It leaked antifreeze. When it doesn't have coolant, then the engine goes hot immediately. You got about 15 minutes before that engine cracks. Because it was like in that situation again, the second it did it, I didn't drive. I pulled right over, called AAA, like tow me, because I was trying to protect that engine, right? I was like, I'll eat it tonight. I'll sit out here for an hour and a half, and that's what it was. I was sitting on the side of the road an hour and a half, got them to do it. Once I got it home, I went and I got some actual coolant to put in the vehicle. So it's the next day. I've already bought the Steam machine, and I'm like, oh my god, I might have to cancel that thing. But it's the next day. I pour the antifreeze into the car. I was like, I'm gonna wait a couple hours. It was another off day, but I'm gonna wait a couple hours and see what happens. It basically, when I came back to it, it was poured all over the like driveway. So it was like, okay, this is a huge thing. Like, it's completely leaked all the way back out, which was the exact same thing that had happened to my original car that I had. And so it's partially my fault, because at some point I stopped checking the coolant and wasn't looking under the hood. I would just get the oil change, let them do it, would not check on my own. I learned my lesson. I'm gonna check at least once a week on an off day, just look under it briefly. But so the next day, like on my off day, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna go through this again and try to like putt with this. I'm gonna kick and scream my way to the dealership and go and get another vehicle. I got way more detail on that I'll just save for off air. But at the, like, long story short on that, I got another vehicle. and it was just like so much was happening. It was like technically I could try to say it's a birthday gift because I got the real, Thunder Megazord, or at least the expensive one, coming in 2 months. I'm getting almost all the other ones right now, and then I buy a Steam machine and was about to take it back, but after the commotion of the car, I came back home and the box was just there, and I didn't even realize that's what it was. And I had went on my phone and was like, when exactly is this supposed to actually be here? And then I look at it and it was like the same like screenshot. I was like, oh, is that what it was? And then I like open it up and it's the Steam machine. And so yeah, I have that as well. So I do want to segue to that, which is a weird way to segue to that. So I had a lot go on this week, and I'll explain to you in more detail later. But for the people, the Steam machine, I want to give my impressions of it. I didn't do too much with it yet, but I take it's like in a cardboard-ish box and stuff. I unbox it, I look at it. One thing that I actually do like, which is like not related to gaming really, but it fits right in line with my big Rubik's cubes that are like square shaped. It's like they could be brothers or something. Like it just fits with it. It's like really cool. I almost want to take some Rubik's cubes and sit it with it and everything. So that's a cool thing. I mean, that's an extra nerd core thing, but I'm a Rubik's cube head outside of gaming. But I set the thing up. It's the layout is still Steam big picture mode with a couple things that's slightly different. If you have a Steam Deck and you docked it, I mean, it's about 99% the same, with only like a couple things that's different. I didn't play nothing too demanding yet, but I did play, funny enough, remember we was talking about Garfield having a a Mario Kart game? They had a couple of them from the past. I think one of them came out in 2013 or something. The second one is the one I was playing. The first one that they made actually didn't have controller support, and so I had uninstalled that. But the second one I played, it was just like what you would expect from something like Mario Kart. You drive, you collect a item as you're driving, which turns into a weapon that you can shoot to somebody. Pretty decent, you just do that with the Garfield characters. I did that. I went under, I had my Steam machine open, or my Steam Deck open, and I was like uninstalling stuff off the Steam Deck and reinstalling it on the Steam machine, everything that I plan to do or plan to play. Starting next week, I will start having more demos and stuff. Some of them will be on that machine, some of them won't. I mean, it just depends on the mood, but I want to try to like get more footage and everything on that thing. I will say, I finally got my setup. It was the last thing I needed for my setup. My setup is really cool where I can be like a kid again, where I don't have to go to a regular computer. I could just turn this thing on and just play. And that's what I kind of wanted for like all these Steam indie games and stuff. In my other room with a little monitor and everything, it's pretty cool. And I could just sit on the floor and just kind of play. But I don't have a review. I can only give impressions. Impressions is still cool. It's a cool machine. If you have a more powerful PC like the PC I'm gonna play with you on today, it's only something that would be secondary. It's definitely not going to replace that, obviously. As far as a plug and play experience, there's still moments where even if you think you shouldn't have to plug and play things, you will definitely, I don't think I said that right. You shouldn't have to do tinkering. It should just be plug and play. If you're in that mindset, you're going to be rudely awakened by certain settings and things here and there, because it'll have games where it's popular games, but it'll say this isn't Steam Deck or Steam Machine certified yet. It's just playable, and it requires you to go into the settings. It'll say something like that. and so you still need to go into settings and change things in order for it to run how you would want it to run. Other than that, the machine will probably still brute force through some of it, but it just won't be perfect. It's not going to be perfectly optimized. So just keep that in mind depending on the game. Now, more games that's coming out and stuff, they're going to be, checked off more often, the newer stuff. But a game like Batman Arkham Origins that comes to mind, that's an older title. There's nobody that's going to come back in there and say, let me optimize this for the Steam machine. It's just going to play as is, so it's going to be labeled as playable, but not verified, because no one's going back in there to mess with that, right? So you'll probably have a lot of titles in your library from many, many years where you're just going to have to tinker with it yourself in the settings, or just play it as is. But if you have a hiccup, you have a hiccup, right? And you probably wouldn't have had the hiccup if you did go into settings. So just keep that in mind. It's not a plug and play like a console. But if you really think about it, like the console ain't really like that anymore either. Like the PlayStation, they had it in there where it was like either you choose fidelity or performance mode and blah 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 blah. And so, I mean, to an extent, just be prepared to be in the settings a little bit. You can wake the system with a controller. However, with my setup, it's not 100% plug and play out the box as far as like waking up everything. I can wake up the system and wake up my monitor, but my sound bar that I have, I still have to turn on the sound bar manually in its settings, and then go into the settings of the Steam machine and connect to it. I heard that there's a setting, when I googled it, there's a thing you can do to make it do that automatically, but you're gonna have to put it in desktop mode and go to a setting and do X, Y, and Z. And I was looking at it, I'm like, well, that doesn't sound too convenient for somebody who don't know nothing PC wise, right? Maybe I can go find a mouse and a keyboard, hook it up to it real quick and go through that one time. But your average person who really was probably looking to get this machine to avoid that type of stuff, they're probably not going to want to do that, right? So it's another thing to just keep in mind. Like, you cannot just plug and play out the box for the entire thing 360. There's going to be little things here and there that you're going to have to tinker with. It's about half the size of a Series X. I mean, we kind of already see that when we look at the pictures. And I think that's it. I don't know. I don't have too much else to say about it because I just got it. Barely messed with it, but it is dope. It's got some power. It's not the most powerful thing, but at the same time, I knew what I was getting from the beginning. I had no intentions on getting this thing and saying, I want to play. Like I would not play GTA 6 on this when the PC version come out. Like, I'm gonna be realistic, right? But I will play like a lot of the indie games and stuff that we watch all these shows with my guy Justin Woodward and all these other people, and then all the people with all of their accessibilities and all this other all the protesters, everybody's show that comes out with all those titles and stuff. This is the machine I'm gonna play on, basically, for them.
How much did it cost again?
I think it's 1100 basically.
I don't know, that kind of bothers me a little bit, that it costs 1100 and you're like, I spent 1100 for a machine.
I'm right there with you.
Indie stuff.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Now it can play some AAA stuff. They advertise it like with games like Cyberpunk 2077, that type of thing. I kind of roll my eyes when I see that one, because that's the game that gets advertised with the PS5 Pro and the next gen systems, and then it ran like an N64 game on the old systems and stuff. You technically can play it with some of that stuff. I know there's the whole like frame gen thing where you could change the settings a little bit and turn on frame gen, and then you can be at 1440p or 4K at a decent frame rate because you did something with all of his special filters. But at the end of the day, it's supposed to be an entry level PC disguised as a console. And in its form factor, that's what it kind of looks like. I think a kid probably would have a rude awakening when he plays a specific game and it's just not looking as good, maybe. Everything, if from my understanding, from what I've heard from the internet, if you play stuff in 1080p, you should have no issues whether it's AAA or not. The problem is that means we just got another machine that works good at 1080p, but for some reason 4K is an issue, right? But for me personally, that's not what I got it for. I got it to play all the other stuff and just find a way to like get into gaming without the distraction of YouTube, the distraction of social media, and just media slop. And just like cut all of that out. I come home and I just game directly so that I'm not wasting my time on social media and stuff. So that was part of my reason for getting it. For everybody else, I mean, you still have all your different options. You don't have to do this. I'm pretty sure you can get the Xbox Rogue Ally X, and it should have similar power. And then, dock it, undock it, whatever you want to do with that. You can go that route. Maybe you can go the route of a regular pre-built or something, or a laptop, or whatever you want to do, right? But I just picked it up. I already knew the deal. It was going to be, over expensive anyway, to an extent. I mentioned, I think, because we played the footage at one point, it was going to be over $1,000. So I was expecting that. Will the price go down over time? Probably not. They'll probably just be like, oh, well, here's this thing. Just focus on this next one or whatever. But yeah, it does look like a console. It does look, it looks fun like a console if you just kind of turning it on, playing with it and stuff. But if you had access to PC gaming already, it's probably nothing new to you, because I don't know who has a PC and don't have Steam. I did look up tutorials. Technically, yes, you can. I can confirm you can go through and you got to follow a tutorial, but you can get the Epic games on there, and then you can get the good old games on there. But it doesn't just come directly like that. It's basically, this is a Steam machine, no pun intended. You got to do some extra stuff if you want to get those other libraries on there. I don't think I'm gonna go through that. I think I'm just gonna use my other machines if that's the case for any of that stuff. I'll focus straight on Steam for Steam, just to keep things simple for me, because I do just kind of want to go back to plug and play whenever I can. That's all I really got on that. I don't know if you had any 2 cents.
I ain't got nothing to add.
We are running long, huh? All right. Free games and news section. So let's switch gears to the middle of the show, even though it's like past the middle. Epic Games gives out free games, and they do this every week. And sometimes it's 2 games a week, sometimes it's just 1, and then sometimes it's even up to 3. But they give out games every week. We like to highlight it because free is free. And we also talk about a couple different news things here and there as well. From what I've seen, the game that's available right now until August 20th is Caravan Sandwich. I think I spoke on it last week because of the name. But it's available right now, and you can get this until August 20th. And then from the 20th to the 27th, there's a game called Card Apocalypse Standard Edition, and then Epic Mage Bundle. Card Apocalypse, I do believe that is a card playing game, so go check that out. And then Epic Mage Bundle, I don't know too much on it. But go check that out. You can go and claim that on the 20th to the 27th, as of this recording. And that's really it for the Epic games. Was there anything that you wanted to mention as far as Amazon gaming?
Yeah, they finally released their list. So already out was Write and Down and
Mm-hmm.
Hive Swap Friend Sim, which we talked about last time. Now out is also Pyramids and Aliens Escape Room, Airship Kingdoms Adrift, and Steel Rising, which was I know that was one of the complained on
Mm-hmm.
Souls likes, but to be still like a bigger free game.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming out, Royal Romance's Forbidden Magic, Spray Paint Simulator, and then at the end of the month, Haven Dock and Clash Artifacts of Chaos.
Yeah.
So I guess their big name one I guess for the month is giving away Steel Rising for
All right. What is this GameStop trade-in deal
free.
that you
Yeah, we
missed?
lost out on it. So GameStop did a whole thing that I guess it was secret. They didn't advertise it, but up until Saturday, last Saturday, they were doing a thing where you were getting full priced store credit like trade-in value for
Mm-hmm.
trading in broken controllers.
Oh.
So usually they mark down for like stick drift or broken or blah 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 blah, but you could
Mm-hmm.
still trade them in. They were giving you full, like if the controller is broken, as long as I think it still looks like a controller, you get full trade-in value price for it. But that only lasted up until last Saturday. But it seems like they're going to be doing a lot of kind of random stuff. And I remember when you mentioned how some of the stuff is in the store. I know GameStop is kind of becoming more of a collectibles store, especially with like
Yeah, I was.
all the people want to move away. So that might be a good way to like if you keep track of old stuff, grabbing some of those old like Switch Joy Cons that had stick drift, especially because now I moved to Nixie, and then traded those in for store credit to go pick up some of the Power Ranger stuff, or like for me Funko Pop collections. I didn't even think to do that.
I'm wondering, are they trying to liquidate the gaming part of that store? Like,
No, they just like doing random things to try and get people in. Like they
okay.
were doing one for a while. What was it? It was something stupid that if you came in with it, you got like free stuff. It was very similar to how 7-Eleven for 7-Eleven Day. It's like if you consider it a cup, you could get free stuff and
Mm,
everything. So people would be bringing in like buckets. They were doing a very similar, like stupid trade. Oh, that's right. They did a whole thing for a weekend. You could trade in basically anything as a collectible to get some store credit.
yeah, I do
And it
remember
was
them
just you can have
saying that.
whatever you want. So they've just been doing things to kind of drive people in for business.
Well, that's interesting. And then what's up with the Magic the Gathering $800 thing that you about to buy?
I ain't about to buy it, but so Magic the Gathering recently, the card game, has been uh doing sets where they partner with non-Magic the Gathering related things. So like they released one for like the Avengers, and they released one for like Avatar: The Last Airbender and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where the cards are just themed with them, with some like synergy between them, so you can have a deck that's all Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle themed and things like that. So they've been releasing these, and they just released the Hobbit one, and it was the collector's box. Now collector boosters cost about $30 per booster, because they're supposed to be all special design, your rare ones, blah blah blah. The box comes with about 12 packs. So these things were costing like 360 to 400 bucks to buy the collector's box. The moment they released, of course, because it was like online, completely sold out. So you could go to stores potentially and still try and find some, but the collector's box completely sold out and immediately re-uploaded for sale, and everywhere that you can find it, it's being sold for $850 at the cheapest.
So they scalping this stuff. I do
100%
remember
right away.
when the Thunder Zords was first coming, it was only available in certain states and stuff. I was seeing people, because I wanted to click and look. There were people who were trying to scalp like each one for like $100. It was just kind of silly, but I'm glad that it got to the people before a bunch of people started to do that. But
Hey, did you see what Target was doing? So they
no, what they
used to
doing?
sell Pokemon like you could buy the collector like little box, like the booster box,
Hmm.
or the individual packs. I think they made it a whole rule that they have to open all the boxes now. So
Oh
you can
yeah, I
only
think I
buy
do remember
individual
you
pets,
saying
but
that.
it stops you from buying the box and scalping because now the box has been opened. So they're just some of them they left the box and just removed the plastic. So it's like if you buy it, you gotta buy it for yourself. Which is also still silly because some people do buy the boxes as the plastic and display it and leave it completely locked up. It's like a collector's thing. I don't know why, just some people do that. But yeah, it's crazy that we have to keep making moves to fight scalpers. Now, I don't really care that much because one, I think they've been doing too many Magic the Gathering sets that branch away from Magic the Gathering. Like, there's a continuing story that overarches for Magic the Gathering.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, hey, my favorite character disappeared a while ago. Is he ever gonna come back? And they're like, ignore that. You can play as Leonardo. Like it's like I don't want to do that. Like I want to know what happens with them. So it used to be almost like one, maybe two, of like special guest stuff reaching out like per year, and now it's like I feel like this year they've done the Avengers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and now The Hobbit. So the ones that's being sold is The Hobbit. So
Mm.
I feel like there was another one too, but for sure there's been these four this year, and it's like do some originals, please. But yeah, if you want to shell out 850 for a collection, man.
All right, I do have a small little thing to mention. So there was some leaks, I guess, to the Zelda package. I guess Zelda's big release that's coming out is the Ocarina of Time remake. But I guess along with it should be a new Pro controller for the Switch 2. I think
Oh,
pictures of this had came out. It still is not officially announced, but I think once they do another direct or something for it, it'll be officially announced. And then it may be a new special edition system that has something to do with Zelda Ocarina of Time, and then you'll get the Ocarina of Time game and probably some amiibos. But I think that was like partially leaked, where we at least see pictures, unless it was some sort of AI or somebody did a really good job with photoshopping. We saw some pictures for a new Pro controller, so that's gonna happen. I know if this stuff is real, Nintendo is gonna have a heart attack. They have a heart attack when it comes to anything of their stuff getting leaked. Um, but yeah, so that's not really a big topic. I just wanted to mention that there. The last topic that I have that's a topic really isn't too big. I just wanted to shed some light on the game um, Phantom Blade Zero. I mean, we've seen footage and stuff on it in the past for probably over a year, but or more than that. But they show some more footage for this game, and the game is set to come out very soon. Pretty dope stuff. I think the big reveal was that Donnie Yen is going to be voice acting the main character, I believe. That's the dude
hey,
who is from some of the movies like Imp Man, and I think he was even in Star Wars, like one of the Star Wars films from under Disney at one point. And then he's been in a lot of really, really legendary action, kung fu action movies and stuff. Um, but the gameplay still looked dope. To be honest, though, because there's so many samurai-ish games out right now, it was kind of reminding me of Omnimushi Way of the Sword, the demo that I had just got done playing.
fair.
But it's still a game that is on my radar. I would definitely check that out at some point. But just kind of like Omnimushi, it's probably one of those things I'll just come back to at some point. I never actually played. I think it's called Rise of the Ronin or whatever game that PlayStation had came out with, but I had bought it. I haven't played that yet. I still haven't played. I haven't bought not Ghost of Tsushima, but Ghost of Yote. I haven't bought that one, but I feel like I will play some of those titles before I play this. But it's a bunch of these games out there, right? So if anybody's into that, you got a lot to play. Any thoughts on that footage? Did you see that footage that I sent you?
I did not see the footage
Okay.
that you sent, but It is cool that Donnie Yen is that Ip Man is in there.
Yeah.
That kind of makes me more excited to play it. Just because you know I think it's gonna look cool. I did notice like that we do feel a little oversaturated with samurai games,
Hmm.
right? It seems like that's the theme now, where like, you have your period of time where it's like everything was military shooter, everything was this, everything was this, and it seems like this time right now everything's samurai.
I think that's probably another reason
We had everything
for.
space. That was the middle one. Remember when it was like you had space games announced,
Hmm.
space travel games, space simulator games, like everything was space.
I think the like with the original topic when it came to like Wolverine and stuff. I think people maybe there are some people who kind of feel like we have too much of the same of a lot of things. I know there was also the argument that people were having that they were having like superhero fatigue as well. Um
Yeah, which I always fought against because I don't know. I just felt like at least for me, it was when everybody's like it needs to slow down on superhero content. I was like, you could just not watch the superhero content. Why should it slow down? I'm enjoying it. Like it's kind of how I felt. It was just weird the way people would break it up. It was just like there's too many superhero stuff. They need to stop all of it. It's like no, there's too many superhero stuff. You can stop watching it. It's what I want to watch.
well, I would at least like to see different content when it is a different superhero, because honestly, um I've never ever, and I mean ever, seen Spider-Man do a detective scan of the entire room ever. And that was
Fair enough.
something that was in the game. And I'm like,
Yeah.
since
So
when is he doing a detective scan? Like everybody else started to do that as well. We was all having to scan the room thing. I'm like, Batman, I understand. He
yep.
had moments like that in cartoons. But like everybody else as a superhero doing a detective scan does not add up, and
That's fair.
that's a yeah, I think that's a fair criticism, and that's a thing from us having too many of these type of games over and
Yeah, but
over and
again, it
over.
has to do with the whole laziness. That's to
Yeah,
me more of people going, well, video game logic means you should be able to scan the room, and it's like you could come up with something different.
like could you imagine? So the Wonder Woman game may have been canceled. I'm not sure, but like, could you imagine if came out and she had her detective scan as
Ability to
well?
scan the room.
Like what? Like no, guys, and that's the kind of thing that's you know a product of us just having too much of the same thing. Um,
But I don't think that's just superhero. Like, there was so many other games. Like Last of Us was doing a whole if you quietly listen, it'll scan the room. Or
yeah.
like I feel like they do scan the room as a mechanic. They just a thing you can do. That was why one of the things that I've always appreciated as a side note. Which I could mention. I meant to put this as part of the sales. Ubisoft was doing a sale for Ghost Recon
Hmm.
stuff where they took Ghost Recon Wildlands and Breakpoint and put them on sale for like 95% off. Both of those under $3. And
Hmm.
the first one, Wildlands, is still getting updates and everything because the people like that one more than Breakpoint. So they're adding in like new story missions, a new feature, and bringing back one of their like special events that they did where it crossed over with the Predator. So it's like you have to like go into the woods and try and take down the Predator while he tries to take you down as well. But yeah, you can get the games if you want. They're $3. I don't know if the sale's still going. I think it is. It's part of Ubisoft thing. But one of the things that I always appreciated for their military game is when you get to an area, you can scan with like a magnifying glass, and you have to like see the people, and then you can have a little marker on the map to like kind of keep track of where they go, and it was tied into you like putting it down on like a scanner and everything to know where they are. But that's how they did it. It wasn't like a detective mode thing. Is you had to take out binoculars and look for them. And if they were behind a wall and you weren't sitting in a spot where you could see, then they're just not going to be on your scanner.
Mm.
So you go in and you just start getting like shot at, like you didn't know that they were there. Uh, So it was like a cool. You want to slow down sometimes and like take your time, or you just run and shoot and hope for the best. But I feel like games need to try and find some way to be like, how do I take a mechanic and make it innovative or work for this character? Not necessarily just do the mechanic and hope people just go with it.
All right. Well, I think that is the show. The only thing else I gotta say is, the industry need to be innovative. You know what I'm saying? The industry need to be more like Garfield Kart Furious Racing, man. They do. You wanna know why? They innovative. How do you just said, how do we, make this mechanic work for the character? Man, I was in the game. The second I got some lasagna, it boosts my speed. Bam. Bam. I'm just saying, it's innovative, man. And I won the lasagna cup. You can't say that. Nobody else can say that, man. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? Mario Kart can never. All right, that's it for the show. We'll see how the debacle goes in the next week. Because right now, I guess in real time, the internet is not letting up on Wolverine, but we'll see. If they decide to take that energy and put it towards the God of War game this upcoming February, maybe they'll do it in January or right before it. They just release some random footage, or maybe the Jello just like gets bigger or something, and then we all can complain about that. But anyways,
Jello,
all right. I haven't had Jello since I was a kid. Well, actually, that's a lie. I had Jello at like the all you can eat Chinese restaurant. We got to go back there.
We do.
Like, comment, share, subscribe. I will catch you on the next episode of what's going on in Sony Land and everybody else. All right. Peace.